Rig-it-do. Twitch, Twitch, Twitch. If you're watching via Twitch, thank you very much. I cannot explain how much these all mean to me. Dee dee do dee da da dee doo doo dee dee doo. Just give me a few minutes to get everything set up. Here we go, yeah, yeah. Oh, I'm loud. Let's see. Let's get live. Do 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 do. Doom doom da doom doom da doom doom da. Big bad nerd dad. Do dee doom doom da doom doom da doom doom da. He's the best. Doom doom da doom doom da. Big bad nerd dad. Do 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 da do 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 da do 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 da. He's the best. Go. Let's not forget that we have all this stuff to do. If you are watching, please check me out right now. Remember, if you see me streaming, please share the stream. Going live in 2 minutes. Big bad nerd dad. I'm the best. Big bad nerd. At Aegis. Thank you to my sponsors, the Aegis Creative Company and at Space Cadets Gaming. Bloop. Yeah. Hey, James, what's up? All right. James is on. Mr. James Chumley and James Rivera are watching me. Thank y'all very much for liking the stream, y'all. Bayard, thanks for watching. All the people in the Disney Lorcana group that I met today, this is a shout out to you. Once I played out at the Aegis Creative Company, had a good time, had a lot of fun. Can't wait to play some more. I went out to Space Cadets last night, but it was not the Lorcana night. Lorcana starts next week for Space Cadets Gaming. Can't wait to get out there and play with the great people at Space Cadets. Isaac, thank you so much for liking the stream. We've got 1 minute till I go full live. And we are going to talk about Disney Lorcana and Marvel Champions tonight. Very excited. James, got to make it out, man. It was so much fun. Space Cadets last night, there was a bunch of people. They always do really well with their events. And then today was back-to-back events at the Aegis Creative Company. They played the Lorcana event from 1 to 5. And then they did a One Piece trading card game tournament right after that. And the Aegis Creative Company is doing a really cool league play. So it's not like a tournament where you have to win. They just want you to play games against different people. And they're going to be posting up the full rules for that here in the next day or two. So I'm very excited to see how they're doing with that. But it is now time for me to go live. Yay! Hey everybody out there in Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, and wherever you're watching my live stream at, thank you very much for checking me out. I am very excited to be back streaming and to be here with everybody. Looks like I got a couple of viewers via Twitch and Facebook right now, and I'm really glad that you're here. Today we'll be talking about the new hotness that is Disney Lorcana. These are unopened starter decks. So, I had a lot of fun over the past week getting my hands on Disney Lorcana product. Big, huge shout out to the Aegis Creative Company for supplying me with my Lorcana products, hooking me up with the Trove, allowing me to crack packs here on stream last week. Huge shout out to all of the game stores in the area that are trying their best to keep up with the product and the demand of all the people that want to play. It's crazy. It is crazy how many people are trying to get out there and play this game, and how hard it is for them to get this product in their hands. Target, Best Buy, Walmart, Barnes & Noble, GameStop all started getting their product in this week. 2 weeks ago, the regular game stores, like I say regular game stores, the brick and mortar tabletop gaming stores got in their product and completely sold out, like gone. Some of the better stores were able to keep some of the product behind so that they could give it away for price support and for using it in tournaments and things like that. But that's it. Right now we're looking at a very small amount that's out there in the open. If you want to get your hands on any product, you probably want to contact your local Disney Lorcana group via Facebook. That's your best way to get a hold of the product right now, is to look for people that are actively playing and can swing a starter deck your way or hook you up with some commons and uncommons. Just at the very least you can build a deck. Speaking of which, tonight I am going to be going over some of the decks. I'm going to be sleeving some of the decks and talking over the strategies for each of them and the basics of how to play Lorcana. Clint, thank you very much for the like. And it's a great game. It's a lot of fun. I've been playing TCGs. I've been playing TCGs for years, trading card games for years. I started with Pokemon when I was very, very, very young. I started playing Magic in 1999. So I've been doing it for 24 years now. There's a lot of good games out there, and Disney Lorcana feels different to me. The community is much more tight knit. They're good people. You see the Disney IP and you think, man, this is for kids. This is a family-oriented product, and it really is, because the game isn't about just straight up knocking your opponent out. It's about resource management and gathering resources, and the way that you win the game is by gathering the resources the fastest and mitigating your opponent from gathering resources. And I think I played a total of 12 games today. I didn't win a lot of them. I only won like 4 of them. Only won 4 games today, but I had a lot of fun. Every single game that I played, I was realizing the mistakes that I had made and what cards I had switched out of my deck that I need to put back in and get rid of some other ones to make it a little bit faster and play the way that I wanted to play, which is a big deal. So first, what I would like to do is show you what I am going to be working on today. So Disney Lorcana is a trading card game, and they come with packs of cards, and starter decks. There are other bigger products out there like the gift set and the treasure troves and the Illumineer troves. But the main thing you want to get your hands on is a starter deck. A starter deck is a 60 card deck ready to play straight like this. They're good, they're fun. I don't have any issues with any of the starter decks that they came out with. I was able to get my hands on one deck for myself and one deck for my wife. Because my wife is very tired and doesn't feel like doing it, I am going to sleeve her deck tonight on stream and show y'all guys how to play the Sapphire and Steel Steadfast Strategy deck. So each deck plays differently. I'm still having a little trouble locking down what each gem or ink color does. So we're going to go through that a little bit tonight, and I'll tell you my thoughts on the Sapphire and Steel and the Ruby and Emerald as I start to sleeve those decks. But here's what the back of the starter deck says for the Sapphire and Steel. And it says, in this starter deck, strategic Sapphire Glimmers keep you one step ahead of your opponent, while steadfast Steel Glimmers stand strong in the face of challenges. Together, this team may have the smarts and strength you need to win. So what's really neat is about their starter decks. Hey, Chris. What's really neat about the starter decks is that they come with a 60 card deck and a booster pack. That's extra cards you can use to add into the deck or start your collection with. I thoroughly enjoy this game simply because I feel like it's different. I feel like it's not as aggressive towards your opponent. Right? You're not actively attacking your opponent. You are actively trying to quest and go out and gather the lore tokens, the lore resources to win the game. In this game, it's the first person to reach 20 lore tokens, gathering those lore resources. And I'll show you on the cards in just a second how that works. And so you're not all out attacking your opponent. You're not all out trying to take things away from your opponent. What you're doing is it's a race. You're racing to see who can gather the lore faster. Do you have to attack your opponent's characters? Yes. Do you sometimes make your opponent discard cards or lose lore? Yes. But that's not what you're actively doing every single time. You're always trying to gain your own lore while slowly mitigating your opponents. Or reverse it, and you're mitigating your opponents as fast as possible while slowly gaining your lore. It's a balancing act, which is why I like it so much. And it's got two very different play styles. One is the 1v1, me versus you. And then the other format that they haven't pushed, but it's built into the cards, is a multiplayer format where a lot of their cards are worded so that it's not just you and your opponent, it's you and your opponents. A lot of effects have that where it's like they want you to play with multiple people. They want it to be a larger scale game than just 1v1, right? Which excited me. I love getting people together at a table and playing a game. And with this, you're not actively attacking everybody. It's going to be a little political because you have to go back and forth saying, well, I'm not going to attack you this turn, but next turn I've got to stop you from gathering more resources, or I've got to figure out how to ramp my resources up and push harder, all while watching the other players do the same thing. And so, Chris, this game is an intense resource management game to me. I thoroughly enjoy it. You can gather lore and you can lose lore. You're going to play your characters and you're going to lose your characters. It's all one big part of the game. Right now we're going to sleeve and go through the Steadfast Strategy Sapphire and Steel deck. And I just so happen to have some sleeves in my wife's deck. We'll be working on that real quick. Switch the camera angle. Bloop. All right, so these are sleeves that you can pick up from your local game store. I always recommend going to a local game store first. In my area, I'm from Houston, Texas. We're very blessed. We have dozens of stores. I always say that you could throw a tuna can out your car window and hit a game store. That's how many stores there are. James, thank you very much for watching via YouTube. Looks like Chris is watching via Facebook, so he may not see your comment and saying that James Rivera says that he's having a lot of fun playing this Sapphire and Steel deck. So, the Sapphire and Steel deck, or as people are referring to it, blue and gray. Blue is the ramp color for Disney Lorcana, and by ramp I mean that it's quickly getting you the resources that you need to play your cards. In Lorcana, every turn you're going to use your turn to play an ink down. So you'll take one of the cards that's in your hand and place it down, and that's one of your resources that you use to play. In this game, you're supposed to be an Illumineer, somebody who's been summoned to the Grand Illuminary to help produce glimmers and help collect lore. All the characters that are in the game aren't really the characters from Disney's stories. They are glimmers, copies. So that's why you can have multiple of them on the field at a time. You're literally imagining them and drawing them to life. Oh, pardon me. Drawing them to life, and it's really neat. There's a lot that goes into it. Building a deck, coming up with what you would like to do, strategies, and I played against 4 different opponents today, and each of them had a completely different deck, including myself. So just within the 5-player pool that I had myself, plus there were dozens of other people that were there that I didn't get to see today or play against, all with different deck ideas and color combinations, and it was really neat to see everything play out and everybody having a good time. I didn't once hear, "Dang it, man! That was a weak move," or there wasn't any aggression. There wasn't any. Right, currently there's no toxic gameplay. It's everybody figuring out the game and trying to have a good time. So, like I said before, the blue or the sapphire color in Disney Lorcana is the ramp color. Each color does kind of the same thing. There's a little bit of the same thing in each color, but blue is mainly play a card, put a card into your inkwell, your resource drive. If this card gets destroyed, put a card into your inkwell, the resource drive. And then steel is just big beefy creatures and a lot of deflection and damage output. So let's take a look at this Aurora. I'll give you the schematics of a card. So in the top right hand corner, that's the cost, how much it costs to play the card. And because of that, you'll have to have 4 cards in your inkwell to play it. Each turn you're allowed to put 1 card from your hand, as long as it has a picture like this in the top corner, face down, to start charging up your resources. See if I can find another color so you can see the difference. Here we go. So you look at these 2 cards in the top corners, right? This is a card that can be used for ink. See how that card's kind of hollow? It cannot be used for ink. Look at it. What I really like about the starter decks is that it's a completely playable 60-card deck. They come with some legendaries. So we got this really beautiful foil. I know it's kind of hard to see on the camera. These things look amazing in person. Aurora, the princess, is not foiled, but everything else around her is foiled in a very beautiful and hey Chris, what's going on? A very beautiful, what they called cold foil around it. So it's shimmery and a little holographic. I really like it, and I think they did a really good job using this style of foil / holographic cards. So Aurora is neat. She has an ability called Shift. So I know it's hard to see, but her ink cost is 5. So you have to have 5 resources to play her. It's kind of expensive, but if you already have an Aurora out on the field, you can pay her shift cost. Not every card does this. You can pay her shift card cost and play her for 3 on top of the old card. And then her secondary effect is your other characters gain ward. Opponents can't choose them except to challenge them. So that's pretty effective when people are trying to bounce things back to your hand or saying that they have to tap or things like that. So here's the first of our beefy cards. Here's Simba, Return King. He's a 7 cost, so he's real big. the ramp from the blue helps get out the bigger steel cards. Very good. Nah, Chris, I haven't gotten any enchanted this time around. I did have an enchanted Hades. Enchanted cards are the most rare cards in the game. They're basically alt arts of different ones that are in there, and they're beautiful. They're a little borderless, full art, a different picture than what the common card is. And I had a Hades enchanted, but as soon as I got it, I flipped it. I sold it. I knew I wasn't going to use it, and I wanted to flip that money to get more cards or get more product if I could, and I was able to get a little bit more. So this big Simba, Steel, has Challenger 4, which means that when he attacks, he gains an additional 4 to his attack, right? So it's not called attack and defense, but that's essentially what it is. It's hard to see with that Simba here. That first one in the little sun, 2 attack, 2 defense. And that's going to come into play when you're challenging your opponent's characters, because anytime that your opponent uses their characters to quest or to challenge something else, it leaves them vulnerable to be challenged themselves. Yeah. So that's key in this game. Again, you're not constantly attacking your opponent. You're not constantly trying to knock out your opponent. You're trying to mitigate his characters from being able to tap, from him having more characters to gain more lore. Each card that we've seen so far has also had these little pips on the card. Those pips tell you how many lore they can gather every time that you go questing, right? So anytime you play a character, they can either activate an ability that's on their card, they can exert themselves to go questing and pull in lore, or if something else has been exhausted, right, exerted, then they can say, all right, I'm going to challenge that character, and then they will attack that character, deal damage to that character, and if their damage exceeds their defense, then they get banished or knocked out. Chris had a bad experience at Space Cadets last week, and I'm sorry to hear that. They're a sponsor of my stream, and I went last night, and everything was cool there. I actually picked up a couple of packs that they had, but you know, each store is different. I'm really grateful for the stores that are actually capable of keeping product in stock that went through the process to get product, because not every game store could just get product. You have to go through a process to get it. And so I'm really glad that the Space Cadets and the Aegis Creative Company did that. Token Fat Guy 03. I don't know who that is, but thank you very much, Token Fat Guy 03, for subscribing to my stream. I think that's one of my first YouTube subscribers. That's really neat. Thank you very much. So, again, this is my wife's deck. She's playing Sapphire Steel. Here goes another Aurora. So this Aurora is different than the first Aurora that we sleeved. Right? This one has a lower cost. Oh. Different cost, lower cost. Different attack and defense. And the lower cost card actually can gather more lore than the higher cost card. But she has no extra effects, right? She costs 2, she's a 2/2, she quests for 2. The first Aurora costs 4. She debuffs an opponent's card or another character when she comes out. So she makes something hit less. So again, that can be pretty good. And that's the name of the game, is getting out your characters to gather lore, to gather the resources that you need. to win the game. Because the game isn't about knocking out your opponent's characters. The game isn't about um, drawing more cards or having more characters on the field. A majority of my games that I lost today were because I wasn't fast enough. I wasn't gathering lore fast enough at the beginning of the game. I'm having trouble making my deck move faster. So I figured out a few things while I was playing all those different people today at the Aegis Creative Company. Oh, here goes a flounder. Flounder. Cost 1. Remember, his symbol's different, so that means that he can be used as ink. You can put him into your inkwell. 2 attack, 2 defense. Can quest for 1 lore. It's a decent 1-drop. Each of the characters has a decent 1-drop. I'm sure we'll see the 1-drop for here, and then I'm going to sleeve up my red-green deck later, and that's got a Sergeant Tibbs. That's my favorite card. So out of all the blue cards, this is one of my favorites. Grandma Tala. So Grandma Tala is one of the key ramp cards for blue. When this character is banished, knocked out, you may put this card into your inkwell face down and exerted. So turn 1, you get a flounder out. Turn 2, you get grandma out. Grandma. Then after that, it's just lore. Because as soon as they knock out Grandma Tala, instead of her just going to your discard, she becomes a resource that you can use to cast more characters, to cast more actions, to cast more spells. This deck came with 2 of them. Only 2? Only 2. Grandma Tala. There's a Princess Jasmine. I like her. She's a 3. She costs 3. 3/3. Quest for 2 lore. Simple, easy. There is another Jasmine out there that's pretty good too. I do not think she's in this deck. I haven't even looked at my wife's cards. I've been too busy working on mine. I really wanted to play a Dr. Facilier Shadow Man deck with a lot of recursion. And I can pull it off, but I need to make it just a little bit faster. Another Jasmine. That was a good Maleficent. Cost 4. She's a 3/4. Quest for 2. I honestly would rather have more Jasmines. Cost less. 1 less defense. But basically the exact same stats. And you can get more of her out. Nice. Oh, thanks. Chris over on YouTube said that he's got 2 foil Sergeant Tibbs. Let me show you Sergeant Tibbs. I know he's in this deck. Where are you at? Where are you at? There we go. Sergeant Tibbs. Remember I told you all the colors have a good 1 cost, 2/2, 1 lore character. He's a common. Sergeant Tibbs. Maleficent. Backer. Maleficent. So, here goes another one of those alt versions. We've got the 4 cost, 3/4 for 2 Maleficent. And here we have a 5 cost, 3/6 that quest for 3 Maleficent. Right? See how she looks just a little bit different? That's because in the story of Lorcana, there's 3 different forms of the characters. There's the Storyborn, there's the Dreamborn, and then there's the Floodborn. Each of them represents like a different reality of what the characters are going through and what's going on. I think there's some goons in the deck. I'll show off the goons in a second, Chris. But you can see how she looks way different from the classic Maleficent look, right? Storyborn characters, I don't know if you can see that. Storyborn characters are the characters that we know and love. They're the characters from the same timelines and realities of whatever it was. The Dreamborn characters are where something has gone slightly askew, something's different in the story. It may be good, it may be bad, it may be a little over the top. Most of the time it's neat looking, right? And then the Floodborn characters, from what I've been told, the Floodborn are something where something's gone horribly wrong in the stories, and like the villains have achieved a goal, or they're winning, or something's going crazy in those timelines. This next card up is one of my favorite looking cards and one of the best technical cards that I've seen. So here we have Mickey Mouse. So, if you look at this Mickey Mouse, he costs 3. He is not inkable, which means that you can't put him face down in your resource row, your inkwell. For 3, he's a 1/3. Those stats aren't very good, but his effect is, whenever you play this character, you may put the top card of your deck into your inkwell, face down and exerted. So 1, 2, 3, tap 3, play this Mickey, card from the top of your deck, immediately goes face down into your inkwell. That's to help with your ramp, right? That's what Blue's really about, is getting out big creatures and helping bigger creatures out. Oh, Lost Library Lore Master. So when you challenge a character, does the damage stay on them if they don't exceed the defense? Yes. So from turn to turn, whatever damage you've dealt to that character, it stays on them until they get knocked out or they get healed. Oh yes, the starters do come with tokens. The tokens look like this. They're just little paper cutout tokens. Nothing fancy. I use dice, just little 6-sided dice, because very rarely do you have a character that's going to go over 6. So I just use little 6-sided dice. I play a lot of war games, so I have a lot of dice lying all over the place. The only thing that it doesn't come with is a good lore tracker. It comes with a small playmat. I don't know. I think I threw my playmat away. Nope, here it is. Oh, these are the rolls. I did not keep my playmat because the playmat, to me, wasn't that great. What I use is a spin down life counter from Magic the Gathering, because you'll never have to exceed 20 lore. Currently, right? In the current game, when you hit 20 lore, you win. So as soon as you get your first lore, of course my backpack's in a different room. As soon as you get your first lore, you just set your spin down life counter to 1 and then start counting up. Every time you quest, gain a lore, put it down. And you can find those spin down life counters at any tabletop gaming store, right? And I'm sure you can buy a bag of them on eBay for like $2. Just spin down life counters galore. I have a 3D printer and a laser cutter, and I'm currently working on a laser cut file to make an acrylic lore counter that'll just count down for you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Very neat, very simple. Oop. Another Mickey. Oh, so 3 Mickeys. This one came with 3 Mickeys. That's a lot of ramp. Bloop. Here goes another one of those big blue baddies. I would say baddies. Big blue characters. Mufasa. He costs 6. He's a 4/6. Has no other abilities, but he can quest for 3. So he's going to gain you a lot of lore, and he can handle taking a few hits. One of the things that I've noticed from playing with people today and from playing with playing against different decks is that the difference between standard 1v1 play and multiplayer is going to be completely different. I have an entirely different idea for how I want to play a multiplayer deck, and that really gets you into the mode of, oh, I need to start building this deck and this deck and this deck to see which one I feel comfortable playing. Because again, the color combinations are fantastic. Each color does something a little bit different from each other. Some things do something only that they can, like blue. There's no other color that lets you pop colors face down. It's just blue. For Lost Library, you can only have 4 of a kind, 4 of the same character, but it isn't just Scar, right? I don't think there's another. Is the other Scar in here? Let me double check real quick. Yes. So it's 4 of the same card. So this Scar Mastermind, he's blue. You can play 4 of him, and then you could play 4 Scar Fiery Usurper, however that's pronounced. So you could have 4 of this Scar and 4 of that Scar. Like in my head right now, I'm putting together a red-green multiplayer deck, or a red-purple multiplayer deck, because I really like the Ursula card. Another really cool thing about what Ravensburger has done for the game is they've produced an app that has every card available currently for free for you to look at. So you can be like, oh, you can build the deck in your head and build the deck on the app. So even though you don't have the cards physically, you know what you're trying to work your way towards. You can see the combos in front of you instead of looking up things online, or it's right at your hand, right at your fingertips. One of the cool blue actions, look at the top 2 cards of your deck, put one into your hand and the other at the bottom of your deck. So this is for one. For one, it's card draw, and it allows you to pick and choose. So you get to look at the top 2, pick the best of them, put the other one on the bottom. Whoa! Alright, so we got 3 develop your brains in this set, or in this deck. Bloop. Bloop. So, one jump ahead, I saw this one. Anybody that was playing a blue deck was playing this one. Pay 2. It's not inkable, can't put it in your resource row, but put the top card of your deck into your inkwell, face down, and exert it. So it's another one of those ramp cards. But the cool thing about this card is that it's a song. Oop, right there, song. Songs are really neat because it has a lot of that Disney flavor, and that some of the action cards are songs. So songs can be sung by one of your characters. Instead of paying that 2, what do we have? Let's use Mufasa. Instead of paying 2, you could say, oh, Mufasa costs 6. Songs can be sung by another character. A character with cost 2 or more can exert themselves to sing this song for free. So to play this song for free. So Mufasa. At 2, even the lower Mickeys and Auroras could tap and play this one jump ahead to ramp up. This comes with 2. I see a really good support card coming up right here in our coconut basket. When I saw this card, I thought this was a fantastic card. It says, Whenever you play a character, you may remove up to 2 damage from a chosen character. So every time you play a character, you heal a character. Healing can be extremely beneficial in this game, but I found that a lot of people don't use it very often. So if you're playing a deck that heals a lot, it'll trip up a lot of opponents because nobody's expecting you to heal. They were expecting you to sacrifice your characters and to make trade for trade, right? Attack with this character to get rid of your character and their character, or exert your character to quest and gain lore and then be prepared for it to just lose it on the next turn. Nobody that I played today was healing. Coconut basket. Third coconut basket. Chris Lowell over on YouTube says, if you can get your hands on an Illumineer's pack, they give you some great items to help you. Yeah, the deck boxes, tokens, the little booklet. It has all the cool information in it. But really, you just need to get your hands on a starter deck. A starter deck or a couple of packs of cards. The Illumineer's Trove is fantastic, but they're selling out everywhere. Cat. Magic Golden Flower. Another healing item. Play this for one. It's also inkable. Banish this item. Destroy it. Remove up to 3 damage counters from a chosen character. Easy peasy. Another super simple healing things. Chris, I know that's what people think, that Target, Walmart, Barnes & Noble, GameStop all got it on the first. But the truth of the matter is a lot of those places, Walmart broke street date. Target broke street date. Barnes & Noble and GameStop, GameStop got pushed back. They can't give out their cards until the 8th. And then Best Buy, same thing for a lot of locations. They got pushed back to the 8th. I got told yesterday that Barnes & Noble had some in, and when I went to go check them out, they were already gone. It's just so rough to get product right now. When the next wave when the next release of this first chapter product comes out later in October, I'm sure that'll help flood the market with even more stuff, because that's going to be going out to the local game stores, and the big box stores should be getting replenished every 2 to 3 weeks. All right, now we're getting into some of the meatier steel characters. So here is the Beast. Cost 5. He's a 4/4. Will quest for 2. And when you play this character, you may banish chosen item. So items are things like the Magic Golden Flower, the Coconut Basket, things like that people play. In my Amethyst Emerald deck, I play Dr. Facilier's cards. That's the item that I use because it drops the cost of my actions, so that I can play more actions faster or cheaper. And I do a lot of shenanigans with do it again, where I might play 2 cards, do it again, pull it from my graveyard, play it again, and so that drops the cost of everything that I'm doing, so I can get more actions per turn. So when this Beast comes out, he's ready to break stuff. Oh, James Rivera, here comes his favorite card, Captain Hook, Forceful Duelist. This is a neat one because he's Dreamborn, so he's from an alternate storyline. And if you look at his hook, instead of it being a hook, it's like this really cool, crazy blade. And he's just menacing, like he's coming at you. So he comes out, only costs 1. He is inkable, and he has Challenger 2. So when he challenges, when he attacks, he gets +2 to his attack. So instead of him just being a 1/2, when he attacks, he's actually a 3/2. So he's dealing an extra bit of damage. And this deck came with 3 of him. Okay, so there is no first printing, there is no second printing, like first edition with Lorcana. everything is going to be the same across the board. The stuff that's dropping and the stuff that dropped in August is the same stuff that's dropping in September, October, November, all the way through until we get our next set of Chapter 2. Everything's going to be the exact same. Nothing will be different. Lore Master. Oh, nice. Yeah. And like again, Beast is a big boy. For 5, he's a 4/4. He breaks something when he comes in. Breaking somebody's lantern, breaking somebody's my cards. Very, very useful. Honey Tea? No, I did not get any enchanted cards this time around. I was very lucky when I went to my release event, or the pre-release event at the Aegis Creative Company. I popped open a Hades enchanted card, but I got rid of that as fast as I could so that I could recoup and get more product. Oh, here goes Chris's favorite flavor text. The goons. They may be useless, but they came with a castle. And in the pre-release, the goons won me quite a few games. In the pre-release, I was doing brooms and rush. So just a bunch of one-cost creatures, playing them as fast as I could, gathering lore, rushing my opponent. Ooh, a neat Hercules. So here's a 3-cost Hercules. Oh, nice, a Maui. Honey Tea over on Twitch says that they didn't get any enchanted cards. Again, those are the really, really cool, expensive, full art ones, alt art ones. But they did get a Maui. So here's the 3-cost Hercules. He's a 3/3, and he has a really neat effect called Bodyguard. When he comes into play, you can exert him, which means that while this character's out that has Bodyguard, if your opponent's going to attack anything, it has to attack the Bodyguard first. So they have to deal damage into this before they can do it to anybody else. So a big play right now is there's a 1-cost Lilo that can quest for 2. And so you put that down first turn. Next turn is a Simba, and the Simba has Bodyguard, so you have to take out the Simba. So the first 2-3 turns go by, and you're up 4-6 lore to your opponent because they're trying to deal with that Lilo and Simba combo. Oh, sorry about that. Mic down. Wonk wonk. Honey Tea, thank you so much for the follow. So here we have Christoph. Christoph, official Ice Master. Cost 3, 3/3. Has no other abilities, but he quests for 2. It's a decent card. He's a common. Got another Christoph. Here goes a nice big beefy Maui. I like this Maui. He's a rare. Good to play him in this Sapphire Steel deck because of the ramp, right? Big boy, cost 8. 8 attack, 8 defense, but he quests for 3. So if you're turn 5, turn 6, you've been playing blue, and then every turn they've knocked out a Gramotala, or you've played that Mickey, and when you play them, it puts a card face down, or you one jump ahead. Turn 5 or 6, you could have out this big old Maui, and then just have this huge beef stick ready to take damage or knock out your opponent's lesser characters. Good card. Perfect matchup for this blue steel deck. Prince Eric. Cost 2. He's a 1/3. When he attacks, when he swings in, he gets Challenger 2, so his attack goes up by 2. So he turns into a 3/3 for 2 when he's challenging, when he's attacking. Gave us 2 of those. And again, this deck is just the stock starter deck that you can pick up. My wife will slowly be playing it, fine-tuning it to her playstyle, and really her playstyle is very aggressive, very up in your face, knock things out. It was a cool Simba. This Simba is not inkable. 3/5 for 5. And during your turn, whenever this character banishes another character in a challenge, you gain a lore. So that's lore. That's faster lore gain. You know, you're not having to quest with him. You can actually attack your opponent, knock out his smaller characters to gain lore and bring down his lore curve. In the pre-release, the goons did a lot of work for me, but this next card was probably one of my favorites to pop out on people because they weren't expecting direct damage. Fire the cannons. Pay 1, deal 2 damage to a chosen character. Straight up, boom, 2 damage, 2 damage, 2 damage. Early game is going to take out a lot of the smaller characters that are coming out. Late game is going to make the difference for your opponent's creatures that he's been using to attack and knock things out. Fire the cannons. Beautiful card. Absolutely love it. The full version looks really neat too because it actually looks like a cool explosion because of how the cold foil looks. Nope. Oh, grab your swords. So this is another one of those songs. So one of the larger characters, like Simba, like this Aurora, you can exert them instead of paying the cost to play it for free. Deal 2 damage to each opposing character. So we're fire the cannons for 1, deals 2 to 1 character. Grab your sword, pay 5, hit everybody across the board. These cards, along with the giant Tinkerbell, there's a giant Tinkerbell card. I have 2 of them. I think I'm going to have to give them to my wife to put into this deck, just so that she can have this menacing spread damage deck. Ransack, draw 2 cards, then choose and discard 2 cards. So if you've got a couple of cards in your hand, this is a good card to play. It's inkable, only costs 2. Early game, this can help you filter through stuff that you want, don't want, get to the cards that you need to set up quick. And it wouldn't be a steel deck without Mash. Inkable, 3 cost. Deal 3 damage to a chosen character. It's got a really good picture of Marshmallow. There we go. And so the company that made Lorcana, Ravensburger, amazing company. They did a fantastic job with their Disney Villainous. They're not a trading card company. They started out as a company that made puzzles, right? They have beautiful puzzles. They have beautiful artwork, beautiful artists that work for them, and they started working with the Disney IP, and they came out with several other games Villainous is a huge hit. I've played it on our charity streams a couple of times. And then they dropped this bomb, this amazing new game. And I really hope that they can continue to pick up the ball and run with it. Help put out extra stuff. Hey, Honey Tea. Yes, it absolutely will. This will be available on my Twitch for, I think, 30 days. And then if at any time you want to see it at some other point, check out my YouTube channel. All of my streams are multicast to Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube all at the same time. And then when I cut the feed, it automatically uploads to YouTube as a video. So you can go back and watch a bunch of my older ones. I completely understand if it's super late for you. Thank you very much for watching, honey. In fact, tomorrow night I'll be sleeving up the Ruby and Emerald deck and talking about my thoughts on how to turn this into a multiplayer deck. Bloop. Banish this item. The frying pan. Good old frying pan. Banish this item. Chosen character can't challenge during their next turn. So this essentially stops another deck from trying to beat you first, right? You want to make sure that you're getting to your opponent before they have a chance to fully get their deck running and operating, or maybe you need to slow them down for a little bit. Yeah. I highly recommend this game. Months ago, man, I feel like it was years ago when I first heard about it. Got really excited, talked to my buddies over at the Aegis Creative Company, talked to my buddies over at Space Cadets Gaming. I know both of the owners. They're both sponsors of my stream, Space Cadets Gaming, the Aegis Creative Company. They've been with me since the beginning. Every year they send me product. Every year they help with donations when I do my charity streams. So I'm really grateful for them. And I always recommend getting from your local store before going out to a big box store. Unfortunately, with these cards, if you can get your hands on the product, get your hands on the product, because it's hard for even our local game stores to get it in. Beautiful artwork, right? We know all these characters. We know and love all these characters. Some of the characters we don't realize that we know them. A lot of the guys were asking me when we were at the Lorcana event for Aegis, where are Goons from? I've never heard of Goons, or what was it? What's this chicken from? Hey, the chicken. Where's this chicken from? I don't get it. I was like, oh, it's Hey, it's Hey the chicken from Moana. Come on, man. Just a bunch of competitive gamers that see it. And again, this game is so different. It's so fun in the fact that instead of it being attack your opponent, it's gather resources with some of your favorite characters. Simba, Aurora, Aladdin, Cruella de Vil. I'm going to build a deck for my little brother using Ursula, Flotsam, and Jetsam because he loves The Little Mermaid. Right? So you can totally make decks around your favorite movies. One of the guys up at the store that I was playing today had a princess deck. It was just filled with Moana and Belle and other Disney princesses that worked well together. Right? I believe because each of the cards has keywords, so you can sort of tell maybe they'll go in this direction. Princess is a keyword, hero is a keyword, villain is a keyword. So they're going to start in the future sets utilizing those traits and things. Like Moana, in this current set, one of the Moana cards says that you can exert her or attack when you challenge with her. You can untap all of the princesses that are currently tapped, right? Are currently exerted. So if you take all your princesses that are out and exert them, attack with Moana, and then boop, pop them all right back. Honey Tea, thank you so much for watching from the UK. That's awesome. Please take a look at the video of the day. And I'll check out the YouTube and the Facebook page. Everything's the same. Big Bad Nerd Dad. Thank you very much for watching. Yeah, that Moana is Amber. I know you guys are like, what are you talking about? Well, I'm multi-streaming, so I have a multi-chat, and I'm hoping that it all pops up in the chat box, which I think it does. Thank you very much, Honey T. Hope to see you soon. I'll be streaming again tomorrow night. Again, sleeving my Ruby Sapphire deck. Ruby Sapphire deck. But webcam. Now my wife has her Aurora Sorcerer Mickey deck box. This came in the Illumineer Trove. She's got her nice sleeved deck. Gonna give that a couple of shuffles. Actually, no, I'm not, because she's gonna want to look at everything. I'm gonna place it ever so gently into this deck box. $60 cards, sleeved, fits in there nice and snug. Not going anywhere. Close it. I will place it into her beautiful Dex Protection deck box, which I don't even think they make these anymore. She's got dice and stuff, so she can keep track of her lore and keep track of her damage on her characters. And that's it. That's it for the stream. That's it for my Lorcana how to play. I will be doing some games on stream eventually once I can get a few players here. I know that my good buddies over there, Chris Lowell, Alex, JJ, they're wanting to play games and do stuff, and I'm working with Aegis Creative Company, and I'll hopefully be working with the Space Cadets fairly soon to start helping them with charity events. I want to do a multiplayer charity events for Lorcana, benefiting, Wounded Warrior Project, Suicide Prevention Hotline, things like that within our local place. We live out here in Houston, Texas. I'm going to do 24-hour charity streams. I was supposed to do one for Labor Day, but me and my family got sick, so I'm going to ask that we don't have visitors currently. But I am going to do one for Halloween, and I am going to do one for Black Friday. So we have 2 coming up next quarter, and hopefully we'll have more product to do things with, because I was wanting to give away a few starter decks and packs, but I'm having to save all my stuff so that I can actually use it, so that me and my friends can actually play and have stuff. I've been scouring everywhere that I can to pick up starter decks for my friends and get things like that going, because it's really important to help the community grow. It's really important to make sure that we get the product available and to people that are actually going to play the game. As much as I like the aesthetics of the cards, and I know that they're a collector's item, these things are meant to be played with. It's a game, and so I want people who are actually going to play the game to get these products to play. Nothing wrong with collecting them, I understand that, but the collectors can collect later. Let's let these people get some product into their hands and play games. This Lorcana is going to be a fantastic game. It came out of the gate full tilt, lots of hype, tons of people that want to play. Chris, we'll see about playing over Discord tomorrow. Still got to work out all the logistics for what we're doing. I think that would be kind of fun, though. I just got to get everything set up, get you on a Discord camera to look at my stuff, look at your stuff, and then set up one of my boxes. I think I had an interview screen somewhere in here. We'll figure it out. But that's going to be it for tonight. Thank y'all very much for watching. I really appreciate it. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the follows. Thank you for the shares. If you enjoyed the stream, please let me know here on my Facebook, on YouTube, in the comments. Share it. Please share it. Tell your friends, hey, there's this big goofy guy playing Disney games. And then I'll also be doing Marvel Champions. I love Marvel Champions. Normally I play tabletop RPGs and board games, and I've just currently been getting into Lorcana and Champions a lot. Monday I'll be building Juggernaut, Quicksilver, and Scarlet Witch for Marvel Crisis Protocol to finish out my Brotherhood group. These are all models that I'll be putting together and playing with. So thank you very much for watching. I had a great time interacting with everybody. If you had a great time, please like, please share, please tell everybody about me, because I'm having a really good time streaming about all of my favorite games. I love all of you very much. Remember that if you need anything, please reach out. All right? Walls ahead, rubble behind.